Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a trip back in time, about 80 years back to the 1940s. Life was a lot different than new smartphones, new internet, new microwaves, but homes were still filled with gadgets and tools to make life easier. The question is, would you recognize any of them today? We've gathered a collection of common household items from the 1940s. I'm going to show them to you one by one, and your job is to guess what they are and what they were used for. Some of these might look totally alien, while others might seem vaguely familiar. Think you have what it takes to be a 1940s home expert? Let's find out. Get your thinking caps on, and let's dive into our first mystery object. All right, here's item number one. Take a good look. It's a metal device, kind of circular, with these two handles that you squeeze together. It has a gear mechanism at the top and a sharp-looking wheel. You can see it's designed to grip onto the edge of something. It looks pretty sturdy, built to last unlike some of the plastic things we have today. What do you think this is? Is it a tool from the garage? Maybe something for opening jars? I'll give you a few seconds to lock in your guess. Think about what you might need to open in a 1940s kitchen. Time's up. Did you guess it? This is a manual can opener. That's right. Before pull tabs were a thing, you needed one of these bad boys to get into your canned beans or soup. You'd clamp it onto the rim of the can, turn the handle, and that little wheel would cut its way around the lid. It took a bit of elbow grease, but it got the job done. How many of you got that right? Let me know in the comments. Let's move on to our next item. Here we go. Item number 2. This one is a bit more complex. It's a wooden frame with rows of colorful beads strung on wires. The beads can slide back and forth. It's almost decorative, isn't it? You might think it's a child's toy, and you wouldn't be totally wrong, as kids definitely used them. But this had a very important function in many homes and businesses before electronic calculators were common. What could this be? It's all about counting. I'll give you a moment. Okay? Have you figured it out? This is an abacus, or in some places, it was just called a counting frame. It's one of the oldest calculating tools in the world. And it was still a common sight in the 1940s. It was used for arithmetic, from simple addition and subtraction to more complex multiplication and division. Each row represents a different place, value ones, tens, hundreds, and so on. It's a brilliant, simple piece of technology. Did you know what it was? 2 for 2. Let's see if you can keep the streak going on to object number 3. Now this is a beautiful piece. It's a glass object, quite heavy, with intricate patterns cut into it. It's got a flat, wide base and a shallow bowl shape. You might see something similar today, but they were much more common back then. It looks elegant, like something you'd put on a coffee table or a dresser. What do you think was its purpose? Is it a candy dish? A place to put your keys? Think about social habits of the 1940s. All right, what's your final answer? This is a crystal ashtray. In the 1940s, smoking was far more common and socially acceptable than it is today. It wasn't unusual for people to smoke inside their homes, and having a fancy ashtray for guests was a sign of being a good host. They came in all shapes and sizes, but these heavy, ornate glass ones were very popular. It's a real relic from a different era. Did that one surprise you? Let's keep the quiz rolling. Here's our 4th item. Look at this contraption. It's made of metal and wood with a handle on top and a perforated cage-like container at the bottom. You would put something inside the cage and then move the whole thing around. It has a bit of a rustic, almost industrial look to it. What on earth is this for? Is it for washing something? Maybe for cooking? The holes are a big clue. Take a second to think about it. Pencils down. This is a rug beater. Before vacuum cleaners became affordable and widespread for every household, this was how you cleaned your rugs. You'd take your dusty rug outside, hang it over a clothesline, and then you'd whack it with this tool. The force would knock all the dust, dirt, and grime out. It was a real workout, but very effective. It's amazing to think how much effort went into daily chores back then. Were you able to beat that question? Okay, let's see what's next. Get ready for item number 5. This one looks like a small personal appliance. It has a handle, a cord, and a metal base with what looks like heating elements inside. There are 2 slots on the top. This one might seem a bit more familiar to you. We have modern versions of this everywhere. But this 1940s model has a very distinct, polished chrome Archideco style. I think you might know this one. What is it? I bet a lot of you got this one. This is an electric toaster, but it's not quite like the pop-up toasters we use today. With many of these models, you'd put the bread in, let one side toast, and then you'd have to manually flip it to toast the other side. Some even had little doors on the sides that you'd open to turn the bread. It was a modern convenience at the time. A real step up from toasting bread over a fire or on the stove. How many of you have a toaster that looks a little like this? Cool, huh? Okay, we're halfway through. How are you doing so far? Let's check out item number 6. This is a very interesting piece. It's a metal and glass contraption that you'd use on the stove. It has 2 stacked glass globes, a filter in the middle, and a stand to hold it all over a flame. It looks more like something you'd find in a science lab than in a kitchen. What could you possibly make with this? It involves heat and water. Think about a popular morning beverage. Did you figure out this scientific-looking device? This is a vacuum coffee pot, also known as a siphon coffee maker. It makes coffee using vapor pressure and vacuum. You'd put water in the bottom globe and coffee grounds in the top one. As the water heated, it would be forced up into the top chamber to mix with the grounds. When you removed it from the heat, a vacuum would form in the bottom globe, sucking the brewed coffee back down through the filter. People swore it made the best cup of coffee. Did you get it right? This was a tough one. Let's move on to item number 7. This is a small handheld object, usually made of metal or an early plastic like Bakelite. It has a round dial on the front with numbers and letters and a little finger stop. You can see a cord coming out of it. Wait, no. This is just the part you hold. It's a component of a larger device that was essential for communication in the 1940s. What is this? And what machine does it belong to? Time's up. This is the dial from a rotary telephone. To make a call, you'd stick your finger in the hole for the number you wanted and rotate the dial all the way to the finger stop. When you let go, the dial would spin back, sending a series of clicks down the line to the telephone exchange. Calling a long number took a bit of time. There was no redial button either. If you messed up, you had to hang up and start all over again. A true test of patience. Did you dial up the right answer? All right, here is item number 8. This one looks a little intimidating. It's a heavy-duty machine with a large, deep basin and a device in the middle called an agitator. On the side, you can see a big roller mechanism. This machine was a huge labor saver for the 1940s household. It took a chore that used to take an entire day and made it much, much easier. What chore are we talking about? Did you guess it? This is a wringer washing machine. You'd fill the basin with hot water and soap, add your clothes, and the agitator would swish them back and forth to get them clean. But the really iconic part is the wringer on top. After washing, you would feed each piece of clothing through the 2 rollers to squeeze out all the excess water before hanging it up to dry. You had to be careful not to get your fingers caught. It was a major step up from washing by hand with a washboard. Let's see what we have for item number 9. This is a large, handsome piece of wooden furniture. It's the size of a small cabinet, and it would have been the centerpiece of the living room. It has a large speaker grill covered in fabric, a few knobs, and a glowing dial. This was the main source of news and entertainment for families in the 1940s. Before television took over, everyone would gather around this piece of furniture in the evenings. What is it? I think you know this one. This is a floor-standing radio. In the 1940s, radio was king. Families would listen to everything from news reports about the war to comedies, dramas, and live music. These large, beautifully crafted radios were a source of pride and a window to the world. They were much more than just an electronic device. They were a piece of the family. It's amazing to think of a whole family sitting together, listening and using their imagination. Did you tune into the right answer? Okay, we've arrived at our final item. Item number 10. Take a close look. This is a small metal tin, often circular or rectangular, with a sliding or hinged lid. The branding on it is usually very simple, and the object itself is quite plain. But inside, you'd find something that was used to keep clothes looking sharp and neat. It's related to sewing and clothing repair. This was something you'd find in every sewing kit. What could it be? And the final reveal is a tin of darning needles and a darning egg or mushroom. In an era of make do and mend, throwing away a sock just because it had a hole was not an option. You'd use a darning egg, which was a smooth, egg-shaped piece of wood, to stretch the fabric of the sock. Then, using a darning needle and thread, you would meticulously weave a patch over the hole. It was a necessary skill for keeping your clothes in good shape for as long as possible. A true testament to the resourcefulness of the time. So, how did you do? Did you ace our 1940s household quiz, or were a few of these items a complete mystery? Let me know your score in the comments below. It's fascinating to see how much daily life has changed and how technology has evolved. The tools may be different, but the goal of making our homes comfortable and our lives easier remains the same. Thanks so much for playing along and taking this trip back in time with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more fun content like this. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.